I'm sure you've heard of Area 51, that secretive military base shrouded in mystery and conspiracy theories out in the Nevada desert. Well, if you thought you knew all there was to know about this infamous location, get ready to have your mind blown, because tonight we're diving deep into the secrets of Area 51 and uncovering the truth behind the lies. From UFOs to government conspiracies, we've got you covered. So buckle up and get ready for a wild ride, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at Area 51 the same way again. Make sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss any new videos. Area 51 is a highly classified United States Air Force facility within the Nevada Test and Training Range. It is officially designated as a flight testing facility for the development and testing of experimental aircraft and weapon systems. Established in 1955, Area 51 is located near the town of Rachel, Nevada. Due to the secretive nature of the base and its operations, its existence was denied by the United States government for decades. However, in 2013, the CIA officially acknowledged the existence of Area 51 as part of a larger effort to declassify documents related to the base. The primary purpose of Area 51 is to support the development and testing of experimental aircraft and weapon systems. This includes the testing of new technologies such as stealth materials and advanced propulsion systems, as well as the evaluation of foreign aircraft and other defense systems. The base is also used to train pilots in the use of these experimental aircraft and weapon systems. The need for secrecy surrounding Area 51 stems from the sensitive nature of the research and development activities that take place there. The United States government has historically been reluctant to disclose information about its classified projects for fear that it could compromise national security. Additionally, the government has been concerned about the potential for foreign governments and other actors to attempt to sabotage or steal sensitive information or technology developed at the base. One of the most enduring myths surrounding Area 51 is that it is home to a vast array of extraterrestrial technology and that the government is hiding evidence of alien life from the public. While there is no evidence to support these claims, the secrecy surrounding the base has only fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. Despite the secrecy, we do know that Area 51 has been involved in some significant aviation milestones. For example, the base was used to develop and test the A-12 Oxcart, a high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft that was one of the first to use stealth technology. The base has also been used to test a variety of other experimental aircraft, including the SR-71 Blackbird, which remains the world record holder for the fastest air-breathing manned aircraft. Today, Area 51 continues to be a hub for the development and testing of cutting-edge military technology. The base is operated by the United States Air Force and is part of the Nevada Test and Training Range. The Air Force has been more open about the activities taking place at the base in recent years, but much of it remains classified. We do know that the base is home to a variety of experimental aircraft and weapon systems, as well as a large number of highly skilled engineers and scientists. If you're a fan of conspiracy theories, then you might be interested in the various theories that surround Area 51. One of the most popular theories is that the base is home to a vast array of extraterrestrial technology and that the government is hiding evidence of alien life from the public. Another theory is that the base is used to develop and test weapons of mass destruction. While there is no evidence to support either of these theories, they continue to persist in popular culture. Despite the secrecy, we do know that Area 51 plays an important role in the development and testing of advanced military technology. The base has been involved in some significant aviation milestones and continues to be a hub for cutting-edge research and development. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a comment and subscribe for more content like this. We would love to hear your thoughts and see you in the next video. You know, Bob Lazar's story was only the beginning. After his claims hit the media in 1989, the world's attention shifted to the Nevada desert. But instead of transparency, the government doubled down on silence. His academic records, gone. His employment history, erased. The message was clear: speak, and you disappear. But the real question wasn't just about Lazar. It was about what he claimed. 9 alien crafts, reverse engineering teams, a gravity-based propulsion system that defied physics, and the mysterious element 115. At the time, the element didn't exist on the periodic table. Then in 2003, scientists synthesized moscovium, element 115. Highly unstable, yes, but Lazar had said the government had a stable isotope, one capable of powering alien technology. Coincidence? Maybe. But it added fuel to the fire, and the fire kept spreading. Dozens of former employees, engineers, and Air Force contractors began speaking out, carefully, off the record. They described crafts without traditional propulsion, crafts that bent light, crafts that responded to pilot thoughts, and they all pointed in one direction, Area 51. Security at the base didn't help calm speculation. Motion sensors buried in the sand, white trucks watching from the hills, black helicopters hovering just out of reach. No trespassing signs backed by the phrase, "Use of deadly force authorized." Why such extreme security for a testing ground? Why deny its existence for decades unless there was something worth hiding? Satellite images of the area were classified for years. Even top-tier military officials needed special clearance to enter. Commercial aircraft were forbidden from flying above. That's not just secrecy, that's obsession. And then came the whispers about what lay beneath the base. Underground hangars, multi-level labs, long tunnels connecting isolated facilities. Some say the labs are still active, still testing, still hiding evidence of a reality we're not ready to face. They call it S4, a facility Lazar claimed was carved into the mountains near Papoose Lake. Camouflage doors, elevators leading deep into the earth. And inside, not just machines, but beings preserved, monitored, contained. Too much? Maybe. But even the craziest parts of this story have started to echo in official documents, in FOIA requests, in pilot testimonies, in leaked footage. One thing is certain, the narrative isn't just surviving, it's evolving. And Area 51 remains at the center of it all. Now, here's the kicker. All this secrecy, all this intrigue, it's likely just a cover for something far less exciting, but maybe equally intriguing. You see, from the 50s to the 70s, the U.S. government ran a program called Project Snowbird. It trained pilots to fly under the radar, literally. These pilots would later play a crucial role during the Vietnam War. So it's possible that Area 51 was, at least initially, a place to test aircraft, maybe even develop some of the spy planes we know today. As for Lazar's claims, well, they might have been the product of a vivid imagination or perhaps an elaborate hoax. But the government's reaction, that's the real story. Their knee-jerk response was to discredit him, to erase any trace of his involvement, to make sure nobody else came forward. Why? Because the truth, as they say, is out there. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Any theories you'd like to share? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you're into this kind of stuff, don't forget to hit subscribe. We've got more videos like this one coming your way. Thanks for tuning in. If Area 51 is just a testing site, why has its airspace remained permanently restricted for over 60 years? Since the early 1960s, no commercial aircraft has been allowed to fly over Groom Lake. Even military pilots require special authorization. Those who entered the zone by mistake were quickly intercepted and questioned. Most left with a clear warning. You didn't see anything. Access to the base is extremely controlled. Workers are flown in daily on private, unmarked flights from Las Vegas. Phones and cameras are strictly prohibited. All communication is monitored. The entire operation is surrounded by silence. That level of restriction isn't common, even for high-security military programs. In 1994, a group of former employees filed legal action against the U.S. government. They described exposure to hazardous materials burned on site with severe long-term health effects. But rather than investigate, the government issued an exemption. Area 51 was made immune to environmental laws. No legal inspection, no accountability. Everything was protected under national security. Why such immunity? According to multiple former insiders, the reason is simple. The technology being tested there is unlike anything the public has seen. Advanced propulsion systems, materials that defy known properties, objects that move silently and change direction without inertia, devices that operate without visible engines. Some witnesses even mentioned biological studies involving unfamiliar samples, not proven, not confirmed, but mentioned often enough to raise questions. In 2023, former intelligence official David Grush testified before Congress. He stated that the U.S. has recovered vehicles of unknown origin and possibly non-human materials. He said some programs have existed for decades, operating in secrecy beyond oversight, and that efforts were made to silence individuals with knowledge of these activities. He made these statements under oath. Government response? They acknowledged the hearings, then redirected the conversation. No denials, no confirmations, just silence. The mystery remains intact. With each new revelation, attention returns to Area 51. The secrecy, the security, the silence. It all points to something more than simple aircraft. It points to a location used to contain, study, and protect information that could change what we believe about our world. Some call it a myth, others call it a distraction. But for those who've worked there, flown near it, or tried to ask questions, Area 51 is real, and it's protected for a reason. Over the years, Area 51 became more than just a secret base. It became a symbol, a name whispered in documentaries, conspiracy theories, and even late-night comedy shows. But something interesting happened in the 1990s. Area 51 began to appear in movies, TV series, and video games. The X-Files, Independence Day, Men in Black. Each story showed secret hangars, reverse-engineered spacecraft, and hidden technology. It all felt entertaining, harmless even. But was this just pop culture, or something more strategic? Some experts in psychological operations believe this was intentional messaging. By turning the idea of extraterrestrial technology into fiction, the public could be desensitized. The real truth, if ever leaked, would be ignored as fantasy. This tactic has a name: predictive programming. Introduce real ideas in a fictional context. That way, if they surface in reality, they're dismissed. It creates confusion, doubt, disbelief, and it works. While movies presented Area 51 as a wild and exaggerated place, real-world events kept building. In 1997, thousands of people in Phoenix witnessed massive silent objects flying in formation, known today as the Phoenix Lights. Military explanations blamed flares, but to this day, many witnesses stand by what they saw. Structured crafts, enormous in scale, with lights that didn't behave like anything known. Then came the 2004 encounter with U.S. Navy pilots, the now famous Tic Tac UFO, an object with no wings, no exhaust, and flight patterns that defied physics. It was tracked by radar, recorded by sensors, witnessed by multiple highly trained individuals. These events weren't isolated. More followed in 2015 and again in 2019, and then came 2020. For the first time, the U.S. government publicly acknowledged that these videos were real, that the objects in them were unidentified aerial phenomena, not drones, not aircraft, not balloons. This wasn't science fiction anymore. This was official. So once again, all eyes turned to Area 51. If the military was confirming these encounters, where is the research taking place? Where is the technology being analyzed? Where is the evidence stored? Area 51 remains the most likely answer. Its infrastructure is massive. Its budget is unknown. Its operations are still invisible to the public. And then came the moment no one expected. In 2019, a viral joke on social media sparked a movement. Storm Area 51. They can't stop all of us. It started as a meme, but it turned into a national headline. Millions joined the event online. Some even traveled to Nevada. And the government? They took it seriously. Security was increased. Military warnings were issued. Even the Air Force released a public statement reminding citizens not to approach the facility. Why such a serious response to what was supposed to be a joke? Was it because of the crowd, or because the joke was getting too close to the truth? Even today, long after the event passed, Area 51 remains under tight control. No transparency, no explanations, no access. Whatever's happening inside those mountains, the world still isn't allowed to see it. Area 51 might be the most famous secret base in the world, but it's not alone. Across the United States and even around the world, whispers of other hidden facilities suggest that the mystery is much bigger than one location in Nevada. Let's start with Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. After the Roswell incident in 1947, multiple reports claimed that debris and possibly biological material were transported directly to this base. Hangar 18 became infamous in UFO circles, rumored to contain wreckage from crashes. The government has denied these claims, but even decades later, former military personnel insist something unusual was stored there. Then there's Dulce Base in New Mexico. According to some researchers, Dulce hides a deep underground facility beneath Archuleta Mesa. These reports speak of advanced research labs, multi-level chambers, and even alleged collaboration with non-human entities. It sounds like science fiction, but the consistency across independent testimonies is difficult to ignore. Other sites often mentioned include Site R, a known Cold War bunker in Pennsylvania Cheyenne Mountain Complex, a NORAD facility buried beneath a mountain Los Alamos National Laboratory, where strange experiments are rumored to occur under heavy security. All of these places share something in common: extremely limited access, zero public transparency, and activity that goes far beyond standard military research. Back to Nevada. If Area 51 is the visible part of the program, where's the invisible part? According to whistleblowers, the real operations may be compartmentalized across multiple locations. Different pieces of technology, different teams. No single person ever seeing the whole picture. It's a strategy called compartmentalization, used in intelligence to prevent leaks. Everyone sees only their part. No one sees the full puzzle. This also explains how so many insiders can be telling the truth and still not know the entire story. Then there's the possibility that some of the technology isn't entirely ours. Several engineers have described materials that respond to electromagnetic energy in strange ways. Objects that self-heal, metals with memory, flight systems with no heat or sound output. In each case, the response was the same: study, replicate, keep it secret. Some say this is the real reason behind the secrecy of Area 51. Not because it holds aircraft, but because it holds knowledge. Knowledge that, if released, would change our understanding of physics, energy, and possibly life beyond Earth. And that knowledge, if true, might be worth protecting at any cost. In the early days, the term was simple: UFO, unidentified flying object. But over time, the word became a joke. Aliens, tinfoil hats, blurry photos. The truth got buried beneath ridicule. Then, something changed. The government began using a new term: UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. Why the switch? Some say it was about reframing the conversation. UFO had become toxic, associated with fantasy. UAP sounded scientific, neutral, and serious. And with that change, something else happened. The conversation moved from laughing to listening. In 2020, the Pentagon officially acknowledged that it was studying UAPs. And in 2021, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a report. It stated that 143 of 144 incidents investigated between 2004 and 2021 remained unexplained. These weren't stories from civilians. They came from Navy pilots, radar data, and infrared cameras. The government had one response: we don't know what they are. But they also said this: they demonstrate advanced capabilities. Sudden acceleration, no visible propulsion, extreme maneuverability. It was no longer just about sightings, it was about performance. And as public interest grew, new task forces were created. ARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. UAPTF, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. Task Force, ongoing congressional hearings behind closed doors. These were no longer fringe ideas. They were now part of national security briefings. But through all of this, Area 51 remained silent. No confirmations, no statements, no acknowledgement. Even as government agencies slowly admitted the phenomenon is real, they never mentioned where the analysis happens, where the materials are stored, where the technology, if any, might be kept. And that silence speaks volumes. Because while the language changed, the secrecy didn't. Reports were vague. Terms were sanitized. Instead of craft, we now hear anomalous vehicle. Instead of alien, we hear non-human origin. Instead of evidence, we get data inconclusive. It's careful, intentional, controlled. But the truth may be much less complicated. People are seeing things. Devices are tracking them. Pilots are encountering them. And whatever they are, they're real. The question is no longer if they exist. It's where they're being studied. And for many, the answer hasn't changed. Area 51. Area 51 isn't just a location. It's a pattern, a blueprint for how information is managed, shaped, and, when necessary, hidden. Decade after decade, the base has adapted. New aircraft, new missions. But the secrecy never changed. In fact, it deepened. Even as the public learned more about UFOs, even as pilots and intelligence officials spoke out, Area 51 remained untouched by transparency. Not a single press release, not a single statement, no confirmation, no denial, and that silence became the loudest clue of all. Because in a world where governments now admit they've encountered unidentified phenomena, there's one place that still says nothing. Why? Let's step back and look at the bigger picture. We now have evidence, on radar, on camera, from credible witnesses, showing objects with capabilities far beyond any known human craft. And when pressed for answers, officials respond with vague phrases. We are investigating. We cannot disclose further details. National security. It's always the same wall, but behind that wall, technology is moving forward. Whistleblowers have described programs that operate outside normal military channels. Programs with near unlimited funding. Programs that study recovered materials, some of which don't match anything on Earth. And where are these programs based? They never say. But the facilities they describe, high security, isolated, heavily compartmentalized, match one location more than any other: Groom Lake, Area 51. The deeper you dig, the more consistent the patterns become. Sudden advancements in aerospace technology, scientists and contractors working under extreme confidentiality, projects denied for decades, only later confirmed, partially and quietly. It's a cycle. And Area 51 is at the center, a vault for knowledge, a barrier between what exists and what we're allowed to know. Even global powers acknowledge its importance. Satellite footage from foreign nations focuses regularly on Groom Lake. Intelligence services mention it as a site of interest, and foreign military officials have echoed the same question we ask. What's really inside? The truth may not be found in documents. It may not be spoken in a hearing. It might already be known by those who've worked there, by those who've seen things they can't explain, by those who've chosen silence because they had no other choice. But what happens when the silence breaks? What happens when the truth becomes impossible to contain? That's what we explore in our final chapter. The deeper we dig into Area 51, the more one truth becomes impossible to ignore. This isn't just about secret planes or Cold War surveillance or experimental technology. It's about control. Control over what we see, what we question, and what we're allowed to believe. For decades, the government said Area 51 didn't exist. Now they admit it's real, but won't say what happens inside. They show us glimpses of unidentified phenomena, but never reveal what's been recovered. They speak of investigations, but never name the locations. It's a carefully constructed wall, built with secrecy, maintained with silence, and defended relentlessly. But walls can't stand forever. Every year, more people come forward, more footage is leaked, more questions are asked. And one day, the weight of truth may be too much for the wall to hold, because this is no longer about if something is being hidden. It's about what and why. If advanced technology exists, why isn't it shared? If contact has occurred, why are we still being denied? If we're not alone, why are so many working so hard to keep us in the dark? Maybe the answer is simple. Some truths change everything. And once they're out, there's no going back. Maybe Area 51 isn't just hiding answers. Maybe it's hiding questions the world isn't ready to ask. But we are. And if you are too, then you're in the right place. This is the Veil Files, where we go deeper, past the headlines, beneath the surface, into the stories they hope we'll forget. If this video made you think, if it challenged what you've been told, if you believe we deserve to know what's really going on, then do this. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video to help it reach more truth seekers. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because we're not done. This is only the beginning. New witnesses, new evidence, new revelations, and next time, we go even deeper. The Veil Files, where secrets don't stay buried.